Hey everyone, welcome back to Smallest of the North Sunday Crew Edition. I'm back, Ben, and with me as always is my partner in crime, Ryan. How are you doing today, Ryan?
I am really good, actually. It's been a very relaxing weekend off of a very incredibly uh, I'll say a very interesting week of showdown matches that we've had. There is definitely, I won't say a lot to discuss, but there are definitely some things there's definitely a lot to get into. I mean, we're three quarters of the way through the year, between three quarters of the way through the Schmodown season. So with tournament season really kicking into gear, we're going to be getting a shit ton of matches.
Absolutely, and yeah, you're right, is going over my notes. There were only three matches this week, but
Just
each
three.
match. Mm-hmm. I'm sorry?
Oh, I was saying just three. Yeah,
Yeah.
you're right.
But each match has very interesting aspects to each of them. Whether it's the interkingdom one, or whether it's the one of the singles matches. There were quite a bit to talk about, so let's get in it. On Wednesday's match, we had Soul versus Haas in Interkingdom. What are your overall thoughts about this match?
Are you there?
Yeah, are
Okay.
you here? Do
Yes,
you
I'm
hear
here.
me?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah, it's not a Sunday show if I don't have internet issues. But come on, let's keep going.
Okay. Match one, I go over let's start with the first match. Soul versus Cause. One is your overall thoughts about this match.
This match, there was definitely, I would say, it was probably one of the more tenser matches compared to Parker and Irwin. Though this one, I mean, just like with Parker and Irwin, you had two great players. Although Irwin he's still new to Inner Geekdom, so we were going to see how he was going to be able to see if he pulled an upset against Parker like he did against Oyama. But with this one with Moose Haas and Saul, the difference was the other way around. Moose pulled out an incredible upset over Chance Ellison, and Saul, I mean, it was either 50-50 whether he was going to beat Brandon Hanna or not. So both of these men definitely had a big challenge in front of them, knowing that whoever won got to face off against Parker. And seeing right within that first round, Moose was slipping in his questions. Like, this was definitely a different performance than when we saw against Chance.
And Soul was playing on fire. He was answering his questions. I mean, round one, pretty uneventful at the end of round one. Soul had 8 and Hall had 4. What did you think about round one?
Well, like I said, it was I mean, it was really puzzling seeing Haas slip a little bit. I mean, most of his matches, he's been always, at least with the last three matches he's played in, he always got within like above 8 points. So seeing him like really, this is like, I mean, even though the season's over, this happened to be his lowest scoring match in Inner Geekdom with just 4 points. Saul, of course, didn't get that perfect round, but he still had he was doubled in Moose Haas, knowing that wherever happened, honestly, that was a good lead for Saul because then he can start judging how he was going to approach his round two, and then it was just going to determine what happened if he got to round three. And seeing Saul just, I mean, of course, he had that little internet lack issue to where we didn't know what his question was, his answer to one of the questions, and it did look like it got in Saul. It irked Saul a little bit, but right after that fourth question, he just shook himself out of his frustration and got back into playing. And even he didn't go perfect, but even then, he still had a great lead.
And going into round two, couldn't have gotten better for Soul. He got the spinner's choice
Yep.
with no hesitation. He chose Superman. And he answered most of his questions, I believe. He shut out once the multiple choice.
Yes, he did.
But I can't remember. He got that, right? Or no?
Trying to think. Maybe he did. Hold on. Hold on. I'm trying to double check the score going into round 2 because he was way ahead. He did get some steals off of Moose Haas. You know, don't want to obsess over that too much. I mean,
Okay.
he did check down multiple choices once, and even then, that didn't affect his mood. It did that. It definitely did not affect his gameplay. Seeing how he had that commanding lead against Haas, and I was kind of surprised he goes to Superman. I mean, after all, when he played against, I mean, it does make sense he went with Superman because after that match against Hannah, there's no way he was going to go for Spider-Man again, even if he did do a mulligan. And seeing exactly how he handled himself, only one. I'm really obsessing over what question it was he got in round 2 now.
I'm trying to remember. And
But no, he only got 8 points, so he did miss that question. Yeah, I'm remembering.
right.
He got 8 points, so he did miss that question when he checked down.
Okay. But he was able to bounce back. He I like his relationship with Kate. It feels like they really get each other back and forth as we saw a little bit of that. And we talked to Kate about that yesterday a little. And Hart is one opponent's choice.
Yeah,
And so gave him sounds and soundtracks. What do you think about this?
I mean, it was smart for him to do that. I mean, if Moose had gotten something any other than scores and soundtracks or opponent's choice, I'm pretty sure he would have definitely closed that gap very well going against Saul. And right now, Saul, after that match against Hannah, he, like you said before, he's on fire. He's focused. He wants to prove to people in the league that he is a very serious competitor. And what better way to prove that how serious he is not only taking scores and soundtracks off the wheel, but giving it to Moose Haas and seeing Haas for like second time. Well, actually, first time really struggle with the category.
Yeah. In that damn category, and a lot of people's Achilles heels. I mean, it's a tough one. I couldn't
Well, I'm not sure about
even.
an Achilles heel, but I would say it's just a big, big blind spot, honestly, because you study films and franchises so much is that even then it's hardwired into us when you play movie trivia to know a director, an actor, but composers really can slip through the cracks, even if a certain movie has a great kick-ass score, and especially now with Inner Geekdom films, studios are trying really hard to make the soundtrack like get a poppy like a modern entertainment pop song or hip hop song to go with it, especially in trailers. So,
Well, let me ask you, if you were playing, what would you rather get? Scores and soundtracks, or is that all movie release date?
well, honestly, with intergeekdom films, I mean, even though the category is spread out, it'd still be easy. So I would say 8 out of 10 times I would nail movie release dates. So of course,
Okay.
looking at the numbers there, I'd go movie release dates. But if scores and soundtracks was, let's say, the only bad slice on there, and I happen to land on my second spin, I wouldn't be against it.
So let's get into this round 3.
Yeah.
What did you think of this round?
Well, I mean, nothing much to say about round 3. I mean, Moosey gets that 2-pointer, which he gets his 2 and his 3-pointer, which is a very good job, but misses that 5, which was unfortunate because I really wanted to see how Saul would be tested in the 3rd round. But we're not gonna find out. We are gonna know exactly how Saul's gonna be in a 5-round match now that he's gonna play against Robert Parker. So we're gonna see how he is in the betting and the speed round. So possibly we may get to see the opportunity of Saul playing in the last round.
Right. It's going to be interesting. It's going to be interesting.
Yeah, but the stat that came afterwards of Saul getting this one by a technical knockout, that he's the first Inner Geekdom player to get 4 knockouts in his career. And even though everyone's going to use that as an excuse, like, oh, look who he played up against. He played against the Real Reject. He played up against but you should not go against him for the matches he's played, but his performance alone and seeing how good he was to get those knockouts to his credit.
Do you think does he have it in him to go to the next level? Maybe play somebody like a KO, or play
I
somebody.
think he is there. Amaru obviously was his first true test to going up against an IG player that is on the same level as he is, but it's going to be depending against Parker what's going to happen in round 1 and in round 2, because like what we saw, because in that collision match, it is a great template to go back and see exactly what Saul has learned and what he is going to use in order to bounce back going up against Parker. Because Parker, he has had some unfortunate luck in most of his matches. Last season, he was unlucky against Chance. This season, he got unlucky against Chandru. And Parker is just trying to cut, and he wants to cut a path to that championship. And we are going to find out which one of these two men are going to go to Spectacular. And honestly, with Kate, she's already cinched in for Spectacular after the pay-per-view. And let's see if she'll be able to have 2 automatic slots for Spectacular. And as far as Kaiser's been to the dance twice.
Yeah.
Wait, hold on. No, wait. He was there for Spectacular 3. No, Spectacular 4. He didn't have a competitor for Spectacular 5, did he?
Was 5 last year?
Yeah, 5 was last year. Yeah, he did not have a competitor for last year.
No. I didn't think who is like.
Because the match cards, Ace Cabrera versus Damon, which was Swag versus Stars. There was Kevin Smith. Oh, no, wait, Brittany Young. Sorry. Brittany Young and Jericho. So he was at the dance. But that wasn't for a belt. But
okay.
Kaiser hasn't but through Smith, Kaiser has experience playing at Spectacular for a championship. And I know he wants that again. Because what happened at Spectacular 4 when he went in with Smith? Smith's KO Kalinowski to win that belt. Now, I doubt it would be almost the hands of fate if Mike retains against Amaru, becoming the first Intergeekdom player to defend twice, and then going to Spectacular, and then Parker wins, and then guess what? Two things can happen if it's Parker versus Mike. Mike can get redemption against Kaiser in the dungeon and becoming the first player to defend the belt 3 times in Intergeekdom, or Parker goes in, and then just like with Smets, Kaiser proves that he has Mike's number when it comes to playing that Spectacular.
It's going to be insane. Going to be insane.
As much as I would love to see Mike have those stats of being the first IG player to defend twice, I'm putting all of my money or whatever I have left after my plane tickets on Amaru.
Yeah. Well, we'll see. Is that the New York match?
No, that's going to be a Scum and Villainy taping. It's going to be on the 25th.
Okay. All right. So,
that is going to be a live match.
Hmm?
I was saying that it's going to be a recorded match. Sorry.
Okay.
It's going to be in a live audience. It's just going to be recorded.
Gotcha. That is going to the second match. Seeing the Machine with Zipper. What did you think of this match overall?
Well, both. Honestly, Janine, she needed a big bounce back. I mean, she was so close on 2 occasions for content. I mean, well, maybe not close. I mean, if she had beaten Marisol, she would have played Kevin Smith at Collision. But Janine has had a great turnaround this season. She played in top form against Marisol. She played in top form with Jeff Snyder against Shazam. And it's just it's just counting down those minutes, man, counting them down to see Janine play for a championship. I mean, she's not going to be doing it for teams this year, unfortunately. So this match, there was a lot going for her. And for Zipper too, he's had some bad luck bad luck when it comes with that. When it comes with round 3. Even though it's good to see him and Winston back together, Zipper's game unfortunately has not had the improvement, or at least it's not been working for him. I mean, last year he's had 2 surprisingly good. He had 2 very good matches against Stacy and Ethan Irwin last year in singles, and of course against Paul Preston, TKOing him, that goes a lot for him. But earlier on, when we do see the comparisons between Janine and Zipper, of course, if you look at recency bias, Janine has had the better season compared to Zipper. But at the same time, Zipper and Janine are 2 consistently underestimated players. It's just this season we're seeing more performances out of Janine than we are of Zipper. If the roles were reversed, I would say Janine had a lot to gain from this match.
I get into this round 1 because there was an interesting thing I wanted to talk about.
Oh, yeah, I know. It can't be ignored.
No, it can't. So, what did you think of round 1? And more importantly, question 5. Raya and the Last Dragon, or Raya the Last Dragon? What are your thoughts about this? Oh, did I lose you? Did you... Are you back? Are you... Why don't you leave and come back?
No, don't worry. I'm good.
Okay. Good. All right.
If it happens to me again, then I will jump out. But other than that,
okay.
Yeah, you're talking about the challenge. Go for it.
Well, I mean, what are your thoughts? I see where the challenge is coming from. Do you think it was a necessary challenge? Or do you think it was a challenge to throw them off? What are your thoughts about it? Are you here?
Yeah, it seems like my internet does not want me to talk about this challenge, but we're going to push through and we're going to talk about this. So go ahead.
No, it's all you. I gave my thoughts. What are your thoughts?
Well, like I said, regarding that challenge, it was smart on Winston to make that challenge regarding Raya and the Last Dragon, because that is the title. I understand the benefit of the doubt rule, but as much as this rule has been irritating me, Roxy, on the other hand, has been proving herself as a manager, bringing up very good logical arguments on why that the benefit of the doubt rule exists. Roxy has proven that it works, but when it came with this title and how the movie and the showdown had a consistent problem with movie titles. Let's not forget one of the challenges of Sam with the Thing and Thing. Yeah. Like that was one. And this one, what made sense? Winston made complete sense because the title is Raya and the Last Dragon, and Raya is the main character, and the dragon is also a character as well. With Janine just writing Raya the Last Dragon, it makes it sound as if the character is a dragon, and it makes 2 characters who are completely separate individuals from the movie one protagonist, which is not. And so, right. I understand that was a bit of there was a lot of it took a lot of judges. I think no, Zipper should have been awarded that challenge, plain and simple. He should have been awarded that challenge, even if that's what Janine was going to do. Janine could have asked for repeats or more time in order to put that "and" in there. But I'm not saying that's going to be on Janine's fault. Anything could happen. You think you completely see the title in your head and you write it down, and then all of a sudden Zipper, who went first, did Raya and the Last Dragon, and then she goes Raya and the Last Dragon. And that hesitation from Christian and Mark a little bit, it's like, yeah, we're going to take it. And Zipper himself should have challenged on that too. The fact that Winston came in to challenge that.
Don't forget, Harloff wasn't there. It was Steph and Mark.
I said Harloff was hosting.
I'm sorry. No, he wasn't there.
Yeah, it was.
I
I'm
would.
remembering that. It was Steph and Mark. It was Steph and Mark. But even then, when the challenge was even when the answer was accepted, Zipper had a confused look on his face, like he wanted to challenge that. And he could have challenged it and brought in Winston Laird, but the fact that Winston was like, "Hey, I need a challenge. I need a challenge here." Now I understand the benefit of the doubt rule is definitely becoming a very controversial subject in the community, and it makes sense that you're gonna allow but honestly, there is two separate cases here for that challenge.
No, you're right, and I have to wonder. I love Steph and I love Mark and I love them together. I have to wonder if Harlow is up to that. I wonder if the challenge would be different. I wonder if the challenge would made it or not. Because in
I'm pretty sure
my
Hollander. Oh, go
I'm
ahead.
sorry? No, you started to say something?
I was gonna say I don't know if Harloff there would have made a difference, honestly.
Okay.
I'm just
I
saying because
mean,
go ahead.
I don't know. To me, it seems like, and I might be wrong, and if I'm wrong, fine. It seems like Elliot likes to use that benefit of the doubt rule a little bit more than Harloff. But maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean you have a good argument for that, and some would even say this. I would almost argue the same as well. But Harloff, as much as he doesn't like the fact of the benefit of the doubt, I don't know if he does. Actually, I'm not. I'm assuming he doesn't like the benefit of the doubt rule, but it was there for a reason. But I'm guessing for Harloff, to him is like as long as he's aware the competitors were thinking that and writing it down, he's willing to accept it. From what we've seen in proof in some matches, but at the same time, why do I keep saying that? But Winston made a very strong, compelling case. And if you have seen the movie, or even if you haven't seen the movie, the title itself should say a lot.
Yeah.
Because what happens if you get a question in a match where this movie, Paul Newman and Robert Redford star as two outlaws on the run, and then all of a sudden someone writes down Butch Cassidy, the Sundance Kid, and then someone also writes down Butch Cassidy and the Sundance Kid, and someone accepted that as an answer. That is not acceptable, because if you have a movie that has "and" in there, it's pretty much an idea that the film's going to be about two separate characters or about a certain plot, or about Indiana Jones and the Kingdom of Crystal Skull, Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade, Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom, and the Temple of Doom.
No, I see your point, and you're right. I mean, that "and" changes a lot.
Yeah, the "and" is there for a reason. It's there to give people to imply to people of what the movie entails or what's going to be happening in the film.
Yeah,
it's not like you get an IG question and you write down Batman Robin when the answer is Batman and Robin. Right. That is something the benefit of the doubt rule can't save you from.
Right. Yeah, I think Winston made a great point, but Roxy won the challenge, and that round ended up.
Yeah, she got overturned.
Going into the second round, they went 7-6, Zip in the lead. I mean,
I'm sorry. I didn't hear that. What was that?
At the end of round one, they went 7-6 with Zipper in the lead, right?
Yeah, because Janine missed two questions afterwards, and Zipper, he was able to maintain himself going in. Yeah, Zipper had to lead 7-6 because Zipper was robbed of a perfect round. But I think at the same time, Roxy fighting that challenge was to ensure he didn't get that perfect round, because at the time, those two were even. And then afterwards, Zipper started coming, he tied it back up, and then Janine missed the last two questions for Zipper to get that lead.
We'll then get into round two. I know you're talking about round two.
Oh, round two, man. This was definitely Well, definitely Janine. She definitely showed her knowledge on Paul Thomas Anderson retaking. I mean, she didn't. She took down a couple of times though, but she was pretty smart on wanting to get Paul Thomas Anderson because she knew that even if she missed a question, Zipper possibly couldn't steal it from her.
Right. She knew her stuff. She absolutely knew her stuff. How many did she shut down? You said she shut down a couple times.
She checked down twice, and Zipper did get a steal off of her. But the logic that she was going into that round, if she got something like Paul Thomas Anderson, someone who has a very aesthetic film collection that's almost worthy of a Criterion collection. I'm not saying Zipper's never watched his films, but it does seem to me when you have more artistic directors out there, Zipper has missed a couple of times on them. And also at the same time, and also when Janine played against Marisol, she took Frank Capra and she got Jimmy Stewart, and she was able to nail that slice down with Jimmy Stewart. So she definitely knows her classics and her critically acclaimed directors. So going into that, I assumed that she was going to sweep that round, only coming out, but she only came out with 11 points.
Well, she gave Zipper classics, right? Didn't he get opponent's
Yes,
choice?
Zipper, unfortunately, he got opponent's choice, and she gave him classics.
He knew some of it, and she took some of his points, right?
Yes, she did. I mean, otherwise, Zip, of course, obviously checked. Oh, no, actually, he didn't check down once. He missed a 2-point question, which she stole off of. And then afterwards, he did handle himself very well, but she ended up stealing 3 points off of him, getting 14 to his 12 going into that third round. So Janine was smart giving him classics. This was just more on the line of, it was a 50-50 toss for Zipper on certain classics you've seen or he messed up on, like the musical question for Oliver. Like he knew what they were asking. It's just unfortunately, just like with Riot and the Last Dragon, it just came down with the movie title.
Well, I mean, right, yeah. I can't remember. Maybe he was thinking that maybe there is a movie with that other title.
Well, yeah, there's a Disney movie called Oliver and Company, and it's a musical. Yeah.
Okay. Right. Why did you think of the third round going into it?
Did a damn good job in that third round. He may have missed that 5-pointer, but he definitely kept it very competitive going up against Janine. And I do love the banter that Winston was having with Roxy. Like after that challenge, Winston just went on the offensive, and then Roxy fires back at him. I loved how he was like bringing in that board, and he's just like, "Hey, I got 2 points coming up here." Like it was definitely relaxing Zipper. It was relaxing Zipper, knowing that Zipper, I'm pretty sure Zipper was kicking himself after that Oliver miss. Winston did a good job giving levity to Zipper, and the fact they have a relationship, it definitely didn't throw Zipper off his game.
And I think that's where Winston is a really good manager. He's good at giving what the player needs. So is Roxy. They're good at supporting them players like that, right?
They really are. But I would have to say in this match, Winston, he put the extra 10% in this match for his opponent. Now, Roxy, I'm not saying she was not doing her job for Janine, but it was clear Janine, she was coming in laser focused. All Roxy pretty much had to do was to make sure she provided that foundation for her not to fall on herself. It's not the work that Roxy had to do when she was coaching Snyder or when she was coaching Hannah or coaching well, actually, she didn't need to do anything with Burkett because Burkett, he had everything nailed down. Or with Damon as well. I mean, Damon made one mess up, but Roxy was able to counter him back. It wasn't. Janine is definitely a more headstrong player. So all Roxy just had to do was pretty much do a certain manager, just reassure her and make sure she maintained that lead. Winston definitely had to put that extra in there. So, and we did see it was helping him because Winston got that 2-pointer, he got that 3-pointer. If he had, but that 5-pointer though, whew.
But and Janine got her two.
Oh no! Wait! He did not get that 3-pointer because he missed that Jason Statham question. Oh my God. I
Right,
too was struggling on that 3-pointer. I was like, I know this film. The title was escaping me. I think that's one thing you can take away from this match. Movie titles was the fucking issue. Movie titles. That was an unfortunate downfall for Zipper. The Riot and the Last Dragon challenge. Him missing Oliver. And then him missing the mechanic. Ugh.
But look at Janine. She was able to pull it out. She made that 5-pointer.
Yeah.
What did you think of that?
5-pointer. It was just this 3-pointer he missed, but he got the 5-pointer.
But look at the machine. She did incredible.
Mm-hmm.
Him and his.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, but I'm not going to focus on that record, honestly. I mean, I see what you're saying. 0-4, making that combination of his singles and teams matches. No, singles, teams, and Inner Geekdom. Either way, Zipper was playing top. He did play very well in this third round. Yeah, he lost 2 singles matches, a teams match, and an Inner Geekdom match. But that Inner Geekdom match, he went to sudden death in that one. So if this was anything, I would say when it comes to Zipper, the losses mattered, honestly, because he had to make his opponents fight to beat him. Just like he had to make Jader fight to beat him. He had to make Brandon Hanna fight him in sudden death to beat him. And just like now with Janine, she had to fight to beat him. If she had gotten that 3-pointer and she missed her 5-pointer, we would have seen another sudden death question, another sudden death scenario. But we did not.
Yeah. Well, good on the machine. I can't wait to see her in the next round. I mean, do we know who
right now, going with Janine, her winning, it was definitely a big boon to Roxy because once we talk about the Brittany Young match, and soon with Jacoby and Brendan Meyer coming up, Roxy right now has 1 player advancing in the tournament, and we definitely need to. From where Roxy is sitting in the bracket. Inner Geek, the singles and the teams tournament needs to be a big turnaround for them.
Well, let me ask you something. With both of her main guys gone, and Draco and Snyder, does that put a lot of pressure on the machine?
I would say both. I would say it kind of would. Right now at this point, Janine is with Snyder and Draco out. Janine now stands as the more experienced player. Let me see. Hold on. Damon, he's working Star Wars, so he would be more experienced, but he's only in 1 division. But as far as singles concerned, Janine is the more experienced player going in for the Stars. And with teams, now that Roxy has lost her veteran team, and so she's going to definitely be placing her cards behind Jacoby and Nick going into this tournament. We are going to, this is definitely a moment where Roxy, I won't say she needs it. There's no way at this point from where she stands in the faction, she's not going to get to first place. But if she can end the season with a belt, I think it still stands as a good turnaround for her.
And who do you think she'll retain next year if she gets to retain any money?
Well, if Christian keeps the option of managers retaining players, I would say of course she would retain Janine and Alex.
Right.
But the big toss-up was she retained third. I mean, part of me wants to say she would retain Jacoby. Maybe she'd want to give Nick Harley another shot. Or maybe she'd retain Brandon Hanna.
Maybe she retained Hanna. Oh, you know what? I could see her retaining Janine, and I could see her rebuilding from the ground up. Maybe she does that.
I mean, you're right. I mean, and also as a reference from our episode yesterday with Kate Mulligan on from her insights, maybe Roxy will only retain maybe one person, and then maybe go to reach out to other players, kind of to do what Bateman did for the Dungeon to help build to be the captain, and what Barbarian did for the Finstock Exchange to help really set a precedent and build the team moving forward.
That's fair. Well, that okay, 2.5 seasons. Roxy had her team built around this team she had, the Odd Couple. And now she does not have that team anymore.
Yeah, and she doesn't.
So it's
going to be a big test. It's going to be a big test for her.
Absolutely. Let's move on to the final match, which is Whitney Young versus James White. Oh, should I say Roxy versus Shannon for time this year? What are your overall thoughts about this match?
Man, this match was definitely this was a very intense match because Brittany has had, I mean, she's 1-1 now with this season being over with her loss, but even then, Brittany, she's definitely one of the stars. She's definitely one of those players that brings in a very joyous and a boundless energy to whatever match she's in. Like, she's there to play for fun, but she also plays to win. And you can see in the match, even whoever she goes up against, there's no hard feelings. So she's one of those players to where you really don't want to root against her. You're in this situation. I've seen comments go down. I'm not rooting against Brittany. I'm rooting against Roxy. Just like when it comes to corruption matches, I don't root against Marisol. I don't root against Mike. I root against Shannon. So I definitely see we had that energy going in there, and even James White in that match, he really was slow. He was really throwing no barbs at Brittany. This was pretty, just like with Claudia going against Christina. This was a very professional and it was a very professional match.
Yeah, let's get into this. Round 1, we have another challenge.
Yeah, we did. And this one definitely was, I won't say it was a late challenge, but because of internet issues. Yeah, that challenge thrown at Brittany because she was off just by a letter or by a word. That thrown in there. I'm thinking to myself, why is Shannon doing that? But then the points that she brings up, and I'm like, these are very strong points she's making. But then at the same time, James could have also challenged that too, and Shannon didn't need to show up for that.
But maybe I don't know. I feel like if a player challenges, I feel like maybe it should come from the manager. But you don't want anything. And then if you have a player like a Bateman or like Dan Moore, you don't want anything to interrupt your player's game flow. You know, I understand why the manager challenged it. What did you think of the challenge? Beauty Shop versus the Beauty Shop. What are your thoughts?
I think I understand the challenge that she brought in there, but at the same time, why am I saying those words every single time? At the same time, I understand Shannon's challenge. Yes, there is an old film in the 20s called The Beauty Shop, but looking at the context of the question, The Beauty Shop is not The Beauty Shop has nothing to do with the barbershop franchise. So I do get Shannon bringing this up. Oh yeah, it's confusion of a similar movie that was released in the 20s. But I'm saying you focus in the context of the question. The movie stars Queen Latifah. Was Queen Latifah born in the 20s? No, she was not. Neither was Ice Cube or anybody else in that cast. So this was, looking at the historical context of her challenge, Shannon did make a smart play. But the question itself flies in the face of that challenge, honestly, because this is a black cinema. Well, it's not a black cinema question, but this is a this is a black cinema question. So the City of Lights has nothing to do with that. Okay, so now I'm even more pissed off at Shannon making this challenge. Now, looking at that film context, Was there any black cinema in the 1920s? I don't think so. There really was not. I was not born in the 1920s. I damn sure know I was not born in the 1920s. Maybe in my reincarnated past as a white man, I could have seen there was a black cinema question in the 1920s, but there wasn't. And I don't think black people could have been able to produce and shoot a film in the 1920s. So I'm sorry, I'm getting emotional on this point. That was my anti-corruption. This is my anti-corruption in me rising out of this moment. So, as a manager, Shannon did make a smart choice, and Christian and Mark they were listening to her because of internet issues. So yeah, maybe she wanted to bring that up earlier. But even then, the category Black Cinema, the question. Actually, I'm gonna find that question exactly. Queen Latifah plays the lead role of Gina Norris in this 2005 spinoff of the Barbershop franchise. And The Beauty Shop, which was released in the 1920s. I'm gonna play some background music. I'm looking for that movie. This was a silent film, and looking at the cast here, this has nothing to do with black cinema. Nothing to do with it. So I am sorry. That challenge should not have been upheld. Just like in Zipper versus Janine, and that question really should not. And the challenge should have been denied, and Brittany should have kept that point. That's all I'm gonna say.
Okay. Yeah, I agree. But
this is the one time where Roxy kind of failed to uphold the challenge to really argue correctly. I may need to rewatch it, but I'm just like, Jesus Christ. Go ahead.
Yeah, I mean, I agree. I mean, I see where Shannon is coming from. It's two different movies. But at the same time, yeah, they should have used it. I will say they should have used the benefit of the doubt rule on this one. This one felt like, yeah, Whitney clearly knew what movie she was talking about. She wasn't talking about the 1920s. She was talking about Beauty Shop with Queen Latifah. I agree, but I don't know. He lost the challenge, and the round ended 6-8 going into round 2. What did you think of round 2?
Well, I'm regathering my thoughts here. I will say round 2 was a very good pull match. It was a good back and forth between both of them. They did very well with their slices that they got. I mean, of course, John Hughes that James White gets take away something big from Brittany, which was big, honestly. Seeing how he's able to, I mean, I don't think Brittany gets no steal off of him. James White, he gets every freaking question. So it really was smart tactically wise, because Brittany ends up getting, I think, 2,000. So going from a broad category, no, she lands on 2,000 the first time, but Roxy implores her to spin away. It did look to me that her having courtroom dramas was one hell of a handicap.
Yeah. Do you think Brittany should have kept 2,000s?
Possibly. I understand Roxy what she was making the argument. It was a broad category, but with 2,000, but even so is courtroom dramas. It's broad as well. Sure, it's a more focused category, but at least with 2,000s, you're more likely to get maybe some animation questions, some coming of age questions, action adventure, some comic book questions. So personally, for me, I would have risked the 2,000s over something as specific as courtroom dramas, because in the questions that she got in that round, and and the points that James took from her, it was smarter for her to stick with it. It was smarter if she had gone with 2000s.
Is that a new category? Courtroom dramas? I don't
It was
remember that.
introduced last season.
Okay. It didn't get played all that often. I don't
Well, it's
remember.
not brought up a lot, which is
Yeah.
interesting. I mean, courtroom dramas, I've seen it been brought up in a couple of singles and teams matches last year and this year as well, but it's not
Okay.
something that has been landed on.
Yeah. And James White got what did he get? Oh, he got Disney.
What?
Disney.
Oh, yeah, for that 2-point question. Yeah.
Yeah.
And then Sean Connery for his 3-point question, which he pulls very well. Honestly, I was impressed with that 3-point pull he got. I had never even seen that film he's been in, that Sean Connery was in. So the fact that James was able to pull that question was incredible. But Brittany herself avoiding a TKO, I incredibly impressed. Incredibly impressed, because seeing that this could have been another huge blow to the stars by her getting that TKO, but Brittany went out swinging. So I'm definitely 100% looking forward to seeing Brittany come back next year if she wants it. If she wants to come back next year, yes.
Do you think you'll see her again? Do you think she'll come back?
I'm pretty sure Brittany will. I feel strongly that Brittany will come back, especially if it's gonna be a mixture of digital and live studio matches next season. I don't see no issue of Christian bringing back people like Brittany coming back, even though she's a working actor, same as Paul Walter Hauser and with Doug Benson. If digital matches are going to be used, especially for players who live in different states, I can definitely see them coming back.
Let me ask you something. I'm curious what you want to say. Do you think Chris Jericho coming back next season?
I hope so. I hope he does come back. He may not. I want to see him play. He may not play in a match this year, which is unfortunately very sad. Honestly, I want to see him play in a match. Maybe for Spectacular, he'll get one of those special matches like he did last season. He'll be given an opponent just for the faction to get some points.
Yeah. Let me put it this way. I don't see Jericho coming back unless it's a live event.
I'm pretty sure Jericho would do a regular studio match if he's asked. I'm not disputing you, Ben. I agree. I mean, Jericho does seem like someone who would do, like Christian was saying every time on the big thing. This is a Flirt and Faust. He wants this character to be for live shows now, like not just.
Maybe I misspoke. I don't see Jericho or Kevin Smith coming back for any more digital matches. They will either be in studio or live event.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Well, I know what you mean. I'm just saying that with the character alone, I do see something like of Jericho popping in.
Yeah, maybe. We'll see. So, okay. So, James
James by that 3-point question, he advances to the next round. So Corruption is moving forward, and now Roxy it only has one player. I mean, until we see how Jacoby does against Brendan Meyer. Right now, Roxy still has potential of getting 2 players in that singles tournament. If not, everything's going to be on Janine's shoulders once again as she moves forward.
Yeah, hopefully Janine can make it fun. I want Janine to go for this year. It's her time. She deserves it, right?
I do hope. I do want to see Janine get to the finals. Really prove her mettle. I mean, not to show that it wasn't just one match. She's not a one match player. I don't know what the term the community wants to call Janine, but Janine to me is somebody who shows that she is here to play in the big dance, and she definitely deserves that opportunity. It's just a matter of when it's going to happen.
Right. We'll see. Well, that's the end of the weekend matches. Now, earlier this week, Hall of announced the team bracket. Should we go over that?
Well, actually, I kind of want to talk about. I mean, you got the pay per view is definitely talked about. I kind of wanted to discuss the Star Wars bracket, honestly, because now that Harper has won the match, he is the new Star Wars champion, and Andrew DeMolanta, it's confirmed he is done for the season. This third bracket, which we all knew nothing about, is here, and it surprised me because at first Christian was proposing those two separate brackets. One if Andrew retained and if Harper lost, which the second bracket had Andrew in it. But now that he's not involved in it anymore, seeing the fact that this bracket is completely new and different, that, of course, what doesn't change in the bracket? Andrew and Molly going up against each other. That has never changed. Now, I understand maybe depending on records, Molly, unfortunately, it was just a one beaten path for Molly to go up against Alex for the first round of this tournament. I'll just say right now, Ben, your thoughts. I mean, obviously the majority of the community may be going for Alex, will be going for Alex in this one. But you think it's possible? Do you see do you see Molly pulling an upset?
I see Molly go. I see Molly pulling an upset. I actually have Molly. I have Molly meeting Alex.
Yeah.
Only because Alex is not the same Alex. Now, to be honest here, he's still really good. He will always be known as one of the greats. I just don't see him as the same guy. What do you think?
Despite his performance in his rematch against Andrew DeMolanta, I still think Alex has a lot more in the tank. I would actually love to see Molly pull that upset against him. I would really love to see that. It's just depending on the questions that's what we're going to get in this tournament now, and I'm pretty sure the difficulty of the questions have jumped up.
Yeah.
So, honestly, it's really going to depend. I think that first round might have to determine what the pace is going to dictate in that second round.
I'm sorry, do you have the bracket? I don't have the Star Wars one. Do you have it?
Well, I'm looking at it right now.
Okay.
So yeah, I mean, I'm looking at, of course, from my side. So that left side of the bracket, I'm seeing Molly going up against Alex Damon. And then afterwards, we got the bottom side, which is going to be Nikki DeMolanta going up against Ross Arsenal, or Ross from Nowhere, who is now going to be making his Schmodown debut.
I have Nikki. Who do you have?
Nikki. Well, I mean, her looking at her match going up against John Hoey, the fact that she didn't really miss a question, she put out a dominating performance. I put my money on Nikki too. But Ross, even though that one match he had in the FCL, he too barely missed a question. I think he may have checked down once. But so going up against Ross and Nikki will be a hard one to decide.
I think Nikki, because we can't forget Nikki and Andrew probably studied together, right? I mean,
Andrew has said in some of his matches that Nikki has helped him with cue cards and like getting him ready. And even Alex has said the same thing with Molly too. It's just now I think with Molly we're seeing that she has to study on her own when it comes with this. I mean, maybe Alex helps her out as well. I mean,
right.
It's to be said for Nikki. So no, even though with this knowledge, there is a good chance that Nikki has the edge going up against Ross. Really, it's really hard.
Yeah, I mean, we will see what the next thing you have.
And then after that left side is taken care of, we go to the right side of the bracket, which is Laura Kelly going up against Eric Whiteley. Now, Eric Whiteley, he is 0-2 in Star Wars, but judging on the matches he has played, it looks like he is learning to play the game more. But going up against Laura, who she came up very short.
Yeah, how do you go against Laura? I can't. I mean, Laura's hungry. We know she has a talent. I think I think it's Laura's match to lose. Personally.
The only way I can see Laura losing is if Eric gets steals from her in round 2.
And I don't see that happening.
Unless we get numbers questions, which has been the freaking kryptonite of so many Star Wars players.
Yeah, that's true. Yeah. Okay, after that match, who do we have?
The last one is Joseph Scrimshaw going up against Gold Leader. We have not seen Joseph Scrimshaw since last season. And Gold Leader, his last match was in the finals against Thomas Harper. So trust me when I tell you, this one has a lot riding on it. Gold Leader, who had been he only checked down one time, and it cost him. Joseph Scrimshaw, he lost because of a challenge. Both of these men, even though Gold Leader's going to come in with that brandishing smile, I think Joseph Scrimshaw, we're going to see a little bit of dark. We're going to see a little bit of some darkness coming out of him, even though he is a Jedi, but he's with Shannon. And Shannon has had so much time to corrupt and twist his purpose to where Joseph Scrimshaw, he's going to come in full dark side with the yellow eyes and the red lightsaber, and more reasons why I can't stand Shannon as a manager, character-wise, not personally, but just Shannon in the Schmodown to where I don't want corruption winning.
When you talk about Shannon, you're talking about the Queen of Corruption. You're not
I'm talking about the Queen, guys. I'm not talking about Shannon Barney. I'm talking about the Queen with that fake plastic red crown that looks like it's going to get toppled over her head after a terrible brushstroke from her hairbrush. That Queen, that Shannon Barney I'm talking about. And the fact that she has broken up the wild berries, that she is poisoning Joseph Scrimshaw, and also I don't want to get too much into this. I don't want to.
Well, I don't think you will have to, because I think it's Gold Leader's match to lose. I think it's been a minute since we've seen the Scrimshaw, and I think Gold Leader is hungry, and I think he has this match. What do you think?
I think Joseph is even hungrier. I mean, sure, he plays for the game, but no one would have faulted him if he did not want to come back after losing to Andrew DiMolanta. But the fact that he is back, I'm really thinking that Joseph Scrimshaw wants that shot, because when he won that 5-way going up against to play against Alex Damon, there was a bit of brash arrogance coming out of Joseph Scrimshaw. Not like fully, but he knows how to do the stare down. He knows how to talk the trash. So I think Joseph Scrimshaw, he's going to come in there very prepared. Okay. I'm not rooting for corruption, but I'm rooting for Scrimshaw.
Okay, well, let's play this out. If Scrimshaw wins, who do you see winning this? Lauren Kelly or Scrimshaw?
Well, I mean, if Scrimshaw wins, he gets all the way to the finals and plays up against Thomas Harper. I would not hate it if he won the championship. I really wouldn't. Because Joseph,
even if that means the Queen getting more points.
It'd be a very bitter pill to swallow, with no water or anything to make the lubrication go down much faster. It'd be a very bitter pill to swallow, because Joseph Scrimshaw, he's been someone consistently judged by his record, even though we both know he is a top-notch Star Wars player.
Yep. Agreed. My dream final match, talking about this tournament, I want to see Lauren Kelly versus Molly Damon. I think that would be
like a rematch from their last time they fought against each other.
Yeah.
I would love for Laura, Nikki, or Molly to get to the finals and win. That way we have a woman once again challenging for the Star Wars Championship.
Exactly. That would be fun. Well, Okay, do you want to talk about the teams, or are we good?
I think we're good, honestly. I mean,
Okay.
we're about to be at an hour. We've had a lot of stuff to talk about. I mean, we can definitely break down the team. We can talk about teams next week.
Let's do that then.
Yeah, because I
All
don't
right.
see any teams matches happening next week. It's mostly some singles and a Star Wars match. And that's about it.
All right. Well, on that, where can everyone find you, Ryan, my man?
Well, everyone can find me hopefully trying to keep a lid on my anti-corruption side every Sunday for Schmodown Night in Canada as part of the Sunday crew. You can also find me Saturdays on Schmoes of the North Channel as part of as one of the captains of the Mount Schmodown ship. Well, not captain, as one of your guides on Mount Schmodown. As we talk about Schmodown players past and present, we talk about impact, we talk about legacy, about why we love these certain people part of the Schmodown. Because with that show, we try to keep it positive always. And of course, if you do want to check out our show, check out yesterday's episode where Ben, myself, and John, returning from a much needed break, as the three of us, we sit down and have a great roundtable discussion with Kate Mulligan, the den mother herself, as we talk about. I mean, we have a good, great 15-minute conversation that was just talking about the weather, then went into birds, and then went into house care. And then but just those 15 minutes is great. But before we talk to her about the Schmodown. So check that episode out. And if anybody watching this are big wrestling fans, I do have a podcast called Wrestling Ramblings and Rages Podcast that's available on Spotify, Apple, and Podbean, wherever you listen to podcasting. I do that, and I co-host with current First Class League competitor James Shimo, the sinister James Shimo. You can check out his matches on Twitch under the Schmodown part of the First Class League, or you can check them out on the Schmodown channel. He's just doing a fantastic job.
Right. And you can, excuse me, you can find me at my Twitter at Dan_Radio every Sunday with Ryan here, talking a week of Schmodown. Every Saturday, like he said, about Schmodown. Every Thursday on Shooting the Breeze. Every Saturday morning on Get Ready. And every Monday on Recapping the Past here here on this channel. From the Schmoes of the North community, we thank you, and we'll see you next week. Have a good one.